Thank you, Mr. Chairman. First of all, I want to thank all of you for your service. Mr. Bremer, I enjoyed our conversation a few weeks ago, especially your views on maintaining Special Operations Forces standards while recognizing these warriors for the truly awe-inspiring contributions they have made to our nation's security. I want to follow up with you, though, on the discussion we had on the Close Combat Lethality Task Force. Secretary Mattis established this task force and believed that the personnel policies, training, and equipment that we provide to our close combat forces have not kept pace with major advances in technology, human factors science, and talent management. I agree with this thinking on this issue. These are the forces who have accounted historically for nearly 90% of the casualties, yet constitute 4% of the force. Many of them are Special Operations Forces. Can you provide the committee with your perspective on this task force and the important work that it is doing?
Senator, thank you for the question. I also enjoyed our discussion and couldn't agree more about the importance of this task force. The stat that I was going to share is the exact stat that you just shared, that frontline combat units are responsible for 90% of the fatalities of DOD. And so if we don't get it right at the edge of the battle space, then we're not doing our job as overseers of the enterprise. It comes down to technology, increasing the lethality of the force. I think the task force is working on sort of a 600 meter from the edge of the battle space, sort of a directive. It comes down to night vision, smart munitions, the right sort of weaponry. I think we need to constantly invest in that. We need to iterate it, make sure we're giving our frontline soldiers, to your point, many of whom are soft, the best that's out there from both the commercial and military industrial complex to do their jobs.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Polakowski, our chairman has made it pretty clear the concern that this committee has regarding long-term planning, leadership, and the responsibilities between the Department of Energy and the Department of Defense. If we are going to upgrade and continue the modernization of our nuclear command and control, it is absolutely essential that this issue be cleared up and be cleared up as soon as possible. Would you agree with that, sir?
I do. There has been a lot of progress on the leadership side with U.S. Strategic Command as well as the Undersecretary having significant responsibilities.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Abend, I commend you in your interest in serving as the DOD IG. I think one of the challenges we have working in Washington and representing people back home, like in my home state of South Dakota, is a concern that is expressed to us on a regular basis that what happens in Washington does not reflect the beliefs and values of a lot of the rest of America. And in that regard, they believe that while they elect us to make decisions, that the vast majority of the decisions that are made by unelected bureaucrats, and that sometimes they go without control. And the one thing that they ask of us on a regular basis, time and time again, is that we do everything we can to regain control and to understand clearly what does happen within very, very large departments, ones in which we expect executive branch employees to be responsible, but at the same time that we have a responsibility to exercise due diligence when it comes to their oversight. You become a tool, a very important tool in that battle. I appreciate the fact that you made it clear that you are from the outside, that you are not from the inside of the Pentagon. And I think that is an opportunity for you. And I guess the only thing that I would ask of you, sir, is the commitment that when you look at reports and when you look at concerns that may come up, that you look at them from the eyes of a citizen sitting someplace else outside of Washington, D.C., and ask the question whether or not they would believe that the contracts that are being reviewed, that the actions of individual departments within the Department of Defense or within the offices, whether or not they would meet the standards of what a tax-paying citizen would consider to be a fair use and an appropriate use of those resources. And I think that's the commitment that you're trying to make, but I just want to make it clear that I really think you are on the front line And you can provide our citizens with a confidence that somebody on a daily basis is looking out for their interests as well. Your thoughts, sir?
Senator, I couldn't agree more. That is a primary responsibility as an inspector general, is to ensure not only that citizens have transparency in their government through our reporting to them, and that reporting is objective, thorough, and timely, but also that it's written in plain English so they can interpret the facts of it. DOD OIG has a great history of doing so, including the consolidated financial analysis that they put out. It's very easy to understand, and I'm committed to ensuring that continues forward, and that when accountability is due, that accountability is handed down as well.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Senator.